The Daily Telegraph have launched a major new cover asking, "Where's Meghan? Why Harry is going alone?" And they say, the newspaper says that royal observers say there is a new strategy to remind people of the prince they loved. They say he's undertaken 7 solo engagements in 7 days, pointing out the Duchess and their children did not travel to London or New York or South Africa, where the prince gave all of those speeches this week. And the Royal News Network wrote on this, "I just realised, is Meghan trying to re-engineer a where is Kate situation for herself? The commotion over Catherine is probably what drove her to launch America Riviera too early, so maybe she's hoping she can create the same for herself. But the dumb thing is that the whole fuss over Catherine was the result of internet stupidity. And the stories over Meghan are focused on how the shift in the cosplay royals' strategy reflects their failure as a power couple on the world stage and in Hollywood. It's also about how Meghan has a negative impact on Harry's public image." So this is really interesting, PD. Now, where do you stay on this? Do you think the Where's Meghan thing has been engineered by her because she has stayed away from everything after the Hollywood Reporter article? Or is this being engineered by Harry to say, please like me because I can be my cheeky, chappy old self when I don't have that woman next to me?
All right, folks, the big question everyone is asking: where on earth is Meghan Markle? Prince Harry has been doing 7 solo engagements in 7 days, and guess what? Meghan is nowhere to be seen. She didn't travel to London. She didn't go to New York. She didn't even join him in South Africa. So what's going on? Is Meghan done playing the supportive wife role? Pidina calls it out perfectly. Meghan isn't staying away for privacy. She's staying away because it doesn't benefit her. If there was something in it for her brand, she'd be front and center.
I don't think it's of Meghan trying to do the Catherine thing. People just don't really care about Meghan enough to question where she is. She's going to have to show her face at some point to make money. And I think it's a very selfish reason because she doesn't want to play the role of a wife who's supporting her husband, who is out doing things using his performative morality, which is what I like to call what he is doing is a performative morality issue, because they're performing as if they have morals. And Harry is out reminding people that he is a prince, and leaving Meghan at home, I guess, is part of it because she doesn't want to work unless there is something in it for her. She's not really there to support Harry and his trying to make it look like he is doing work and being a real prince with real change. I don't think they are trying to do anything to look like what Catherine did at all. And I'm quite frankly, I'm just disgusted even with Harry trying to do what he's doing, because he has no backing behind any of the work that he does as a prince. You're not as attached anymore to royalty in the UK, officially. So why are you doing these things? And what change are you ever really going to bring? And Meghan could be concerned less about trying to bring real change to places in Africa. I mean, I look at Bali, and I don't know if you know about this, but I did a video on this story about Kiki that was the inspiration for Harry to start this charity. Some horrific things happened to this young baby that he promised to always take care of her. And even Bali has the meaning in this language, forget me not. And that's exactly what Harry has done when he has not followed up on his promises to this little baby at 6 months old who was violated. And he's never done anything to show support for this young girl that he promised to do. So he has done exactly what his charity means, forget me not. He has forgotten her.
But it's
And
just like
he
Africa
is an
Parks.
appalling character to me.
Totally, but it's just like Africa Parks. He's not prepared to ask the difficult questions about that charity, for example. So you're completely right. I love that. He's got performative morals. You say he's performing as if he has morals. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It absolutely is. I think that is such a good way to put it, because at the end of the day, He doesn't have morals, because if he had morals, he wouldn't have ruined the last months of his grandfather and grandmother's
Yeah.
life. And I'm sorry, P. Dina. I know not everyone's with me on this. I cannot forgive him for it. I can't,
No.
let
No.
alone the stress that he's put on Charles just before he got
Yeah.
cancer, the stress that he's put on Catherine before she had cancer. And we know that stress and cancer they don't mix well, So,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm
And
with
it's
you.
elder abuse. I mean,
Yes.
think about it. Look at Megan's father. It's elder abuse. They
Oh, poor
abuse
Thomas. Yeah.
elders in their
Yeah.
lives, their families. And thank goodness the Beckhams have no longer wanted to align with them. They shouldn't because of
Yes.
what they've done to their elders.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
no, indeed. And as I say, I'm not the biggest fan of the Beckhams, but I agree with them about this. Harry, I
Hmm.
mean, speaking of performative morality, there's lots of weird moments from him in both New York and South Africa. But I wanted to play this one moment where he tries to give a rousing speech around a campfire. But again, it's like he's forgetting, P. Dini. When you listen to his words, it's like he's forgetting that he is one of the most privileged men in the world as a member of the British royal family.
And here's where things get really interesting. Some people think Meghan is trying to recreate the Where's Kate media frenzy. Think about it. When Princess Catherine disappeared from public life for a few months, the internet went wild with speculation. Meghan, she saw that reaction and she wants that same attention. And the timing? Very suspicious. Meghan suddenly launches her luxury jam brand right after the Where's Kate. Hysteria dies down? Coincidence? I don't think so. The problem? Nobody actually cares. The only reason Where's Kate was a viral moment was because people genuinely love Catherine. Meghan doesn't have that kind of public interest anymore.
I mean, look, I know it's woke mumbo jumbo, right? But P.
Hmm.
Dina, it's particularly insane. It's like he has no self-awareness about who he is, what
No,
his role is.
you're right. And how different his life is to their lives. I mean, I would love to see how the people there live. One of the things that he talked about, and one of the reasons why he was actually there, was to look at the wealth gap, and to talk about mental health and like what real change is he really bringing? What I mean, he says all these things that just doesn't really. What does it bring and mean to these people who are in real time needing housing, needing access to real health care? I mean, that it's all about showing up to take the pictures to make himself look like he is actually doing something, but the reality is he's not really doing anything. And that's part of it. And this is the example I want to share with you. Most recently, Dikembe Mutombo passed away. He was from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and he was a very famous basketball player here in the States. And he went back to where he grew up and made real change. This man was a real hero, and he showed you how to do it. He gave you a blueprint. He raised millions and millions of dollars to build hospitals and schools and to make change. And all Harry and Meghan really do is show up to give talking points to impress the elites back in California, to show that they are doing something so that they can get a bigger paycheck. Because once again, they're not connected to the bigger picture of the monarchy. They are doing things that are so superficial and pretentious. And people have to stop aligning themselves. Even the prince that he met that co-founded Bali with him call for real change. I know that there was a center built in Bali years ago. Well, what else are you doing instead of talking about, what you talked about here by the campfire? Like, what are you really doing to make people's lives better? You're not doing that. You are trying to help your brand back in California to get more money, to live in opulence and privilege, and to build your wife's brand, but you're not creating real concrete change to make a difference in the lives of people that do not have the same privilege as you, Harry. It is an abomination for this man to be able to show up and to make a mockery of the people that he tries to pretend he is there to help and support, because he's not doing nearly what he needs to do with all the privilege he has. He's not doing enough. And
Not
that
even
should be the outrage
close.
from people.
Not even
Absolutely.
close. Oh my goodness, I share your anger because it's like he doesn't want to do duty, P. Dina, because it's the right thing to do because he cares about the duty. He wants to do the duty because the Hollywood career has backfired. And that is so
Yes.
wrong. And look, you saw his true intentions, by the way, in New York, I think, because firstly, he was meeting with Hillary Clinton and Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organization. So there's that whole globalist thing going on. And
Mhm.
then there was the completely bizarre appearance on Jimmy Fallon.
Asterisk. And now, let's talk about asterisk, the real reason Meghan is staying away. Because she simply doesn't want to play the supportive wife role. Pidina says it perfectly. Meghan only shows up when it benefits her. The second Harry is out there trying to rebuild his reputation, Meghan disappears. I mean, just look at the visuals. Harry standing alone, giving speeches, trying to act like he's still relevant. Meanwhile, Meghan is off somewhere promoting jam and luxury homeware. If she actually cared about Harry's career, wouldn't she be there supporting him? Or at the very least, pretending to care? And here's the big twist. Some people think this isn't Meghan's plan, it's actually Harry's. What if he's the one trying to prove he's better off without Meghan? It's no secret that Harry's reputation has tanked since marrying Meghan. But now suddenly he's doing events alone, he's giving speeches, he's trying to be the Prince Harry people used to love. Some fans are actually wondering, is Harry testing the waters? Is he seeing how the public reacts to him without Meghan by his side? And honestly, he's probably getting a lot more positive press this way.
On the Jimmy Fallon show. And I didn't understand this one at all. So I've got a theory that maybe it was a financial deal that he was paid because he wasn't promoting a thing. He didn't talk about any of his projects. There was no charity connection whatsoever. So all of this seemed to be to promote Jimmy Fallon's nightmare Halloween ride, right, in New York, which I'm sure is a great thing. But it felt very bizarre to me that Harry wouldn't have thought, actually, this is an opportunity. I'm on TV. Everyone's going to be watching this. I'll do it. But there has to be some sort of connection to the charity. For example, why couldn't he have taken
Right.
some of those young women who he was on stage with earlier in the week and taken them to the Jimmy Fallon experience with him and talked about it? Or, for example, taken the parents from the Parents Network who had suffered the loss of their children through suicide. Why could he not have taken them into the Halloween experience with him, got them to meet Jimmy Fallon? Jimmy Fallon would have said yes. Instead, it was all about Harry larking around, acting like an 18-year-old. He swore, which was very unbecoming. And then
Yeah.
there was also this really weird moment where he went in and sort of, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but a woman frightened him and it looked as if he was going to punch her. I mean, look, I'm not saying no one can have fun, okay? But the whole point of doing something like that, P. Dina, is if you promote something. Like with William, he's not just meeting up with David Beckham for fun. He's meeting up with David Beckham to promote the London Air Ambulance Service. And we're all talking about the London Air Ambulance Service, which William really cares about because of his visit with David Beckham.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, like doing something meaningful. And
Yes.
that's where it becomes like for me, it's just not okay. And it really does need to be called out. And I'm so glad you speak about this and people can kind of see this perspective because, like myself and others with Prince William, we're doing real change, doing things to really help people. And Harry and I believe Meghan are just going through the motions. They're not really in it for what the meaning is to really help people. They're in it to go through the motions, to use your performative morality, to get your paycheck, to make more money, to live your life of opulence, and that's what it's about. It's not really about what you think it should be about, like what we know it should be about. He's there to make his money, and it's all hollow, it's shallow. You're not even trying to raise money for a bigger cause or to bring people along that you want people to meet to get a wider reach about the work that they are doing. They're not doing that, and that's where it needs to be spoken about. And I'm glad the Hollywood Reporter has written what they have written. I hope they write more. I hope more publications come out. I hope there's a lawsuit because there is a real travesty happening here that people need to kind of look at and open their eyes up and not just follow Meghan and Harry for what they're wanting you to see, but thinking critically about what it is we're actually seeing and understanding this is not what we're seeing them try to show us. Think deeper than that. Think really what they're not doing, and how they are a lost cause to the bigger picture of things that need to be done, and people they need to help. It's about enriching themselves. Just look at the whole reason why they left the royal family in general. They wanted to find a way to be independently wealthy, to not rely on the taxpayers, right? So everything that they do is going to be around trying to up their brand, to make them be able to make more money so that they can, for their engagements, go do what they do and make millions of dollars. It's not about really helping people, but they're trying to make you think that with their performative morality. And that's what
Totally.
it is. They're trying to impress people.
Dan Wooten even suggests that Harry is quietly begging for people to like him again, to see him as fun Prince Harry, instead of miserable Sussex exile. But here's the question, is it working? So here's the real question. Are Meghan and Harry slowly going their separate ways? Because right now they're living completely different lives. Meghan is all about Hollywood, Instagram, and luxury branding. Harry is out here desperately trying to prove he still matters. And neither of them seem to be on the same page. And let's be honest, the public has moved on from them. The royals don't want them back, Hollywood is getting bored, and now? Even they seem to be losing interest in each other. At this point, how long before they officially call it quits? Because if Meghan's absence tells us anything, she's already halfway out the door. Alright folks, that's it for today's reaction. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let's get the conversation going. Do you think Meghan is pulling away from Harry? Or is this just another PR stunt? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.